Hi, Maud. This is Ray Bone, your lobbyist. I just wanted to give you a quick update on where we're at with all the omnibus bills that are being put together right now as we speak. We actually have four different bills that we're following in terms of the omnibus bills. Um Two are the legacy bills, one in the House, one in the Senate, and two are the environment, finance, and policy bills. And again, they've combined the policy bill and the finance bill in both houses. So as a result, we're only going to have the two bills to watch. So we won't have policy and finance split apart into two different conference committees, and that's a plus. I think mostly a plus. It gets problematic when you start arguing over policy, and it affects the rest of the finance bill. But one thing we know this year, there has to be a budget, so they can't walk away from their finance bills like they did last session. They have to pass. They have to pass a budget. Otherwise, government shuts down, or at least the environment part of government shuts down. So anyway, um, that's where we're at. They made some modifications. The SWCDs, they're in finance bill on one side, and the other side they're in the legacy bill. Um, Basically, the House gave them only funding for the first year, and the Senate gave them $22 million funding, or 24, I guess, 12 million each year. So the House, in addition to not giving them that extra 12 million for the second year, they did provide some additional way to capture more money for the SWCDs through a fee increase in the fees when you're in real estate transactions. And they never really said how much they think that's going to raise. I don't think they really have an idea of how much they think that's going to raise for the SWCDs. But that's going to be continues to be another an issue to deal with. Um, there's one issue that we're watching pretty carefully, and that is there appears to be some legislators want to set up a water storage program. Um, we have few problems with that in that the we don't think we really need to set up another water storage plan. We think we have plenty of plans within our local and comprehensive plans already on storing water. We just need to gather that information and figure out what the need is right now. And I think it'd be a lot more than they'd ever be willing to spend probably over 10 years. So, but anyway, that being the case, we're following that. We're trying to get them to take another look at some of the legislation they have. Uh, the legislation in the House, they went from I think a total of 3 million down to 1 million. So it's taken a pretty substantial hit. Um, in our arguments to them, $1 million will build maybe a couple of medium-sized projects in terms of what we deal with in water storage. Of course, not all of our storage is that size, but a good share of it is. Uh, the other thing in the Senate side, the bill was revamped a bit, where they want Bowser to develop some strategies for creating water storage in strategic locations around the state. And we don't know exactly what that means. But anyway, again, harken back to the concept. Let's go to the local plans. Let's go to comprehensive plans. Let's find out what people want to do today, what they've got in their plans today as it relates to water storage. And then that'd be a pretty good jumping off point for us to figure out where we should go from there. And in fact, we actually need another program. We don't, we're really, I guess, hesitant to jump on the bandwagon for another program when frankly we don't have funds to properly fund uh, the water storage priorities we have in our own local plans. Um, the Emily has, Emily has sent along to an update on the actual bill numbers, and you can take a look at what's in those bills if you like. We're gonna develop a more comprehensive analysis of the bills once they get into a conference committee. Right now, the omnibus bills are making their way through the finance committees, the full finance committees in both the House and of course Ways and Means in the House, Finance Committee in the Senate, and then from there they'll go to the floor, and we believe they're pushing pretty hard to get through as many of the omnibus bills this week. The finance committees are this week, and I think they'll get through a good share of them. Then they'll start moving on them on the floor, both the House and the Senate, and of course once they pass floor, and those are always arduous sessions because there are lots of amendments to the provisions. What's going to happen is then they go into conference committee, and once we hit conference committee, we'll be able to sort things out and figure out exactly where we're at on the omnibus and on the budget, overall budget. With that, I didn't mean this to be a very long update, but just wanted to bring you up to speed on where we're at with the omnibus bills. They're moving through, and there's still going to be some of the old battles are there. They got wastewater treatment money stuck into the LCCMR yet, and I know that was one of the obstacles that we faced last year and why we didn't get a finance bill. So both the 20 and 21 LCCMR bills are in either I think in both finance bills. So there's just going to be a lot of discussion, and I think some of you that had heard Chairman Rick Hansen of the Environment, Finance and Policy Committee in the House say during our legislative breakfast, our legislative briefing, that he believed we're going to be here till June 30th. And well, let me put it this way: I'm not making any vacation plans for June. So I think there's more than an even chance that we'll be around, because there's still lots of big issues. We still have the issue of the governor's executive authority during emergencies, and I know the Republican majority in the Senate is really upset about that, and as is the Republican minority in the House. But the Democrats just in the House are not budging on that. So, and the governor's not budging on it, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. So there's some of those broader issues still hanging out there that, frankly, we really don't have anything to do with, but are going to affect the final outcome. So with that, I'm going to sign off and just let you know you'll be hearing from us once the bills go through the House. Any amendments, then we'll have any amendments that are put on the floors. They'll be included in those analysis, and then we'll be able to get that out to you so you can take a good look and have a much better understanding. We'll all have a much better understanding of where this session is headed. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and we'll talk to you later.